Gentleman from Hampton, Ms. Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a point of personal privilege and an introduction.
Gentlewoman has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, today we are joined by over 200 members of the Virginia AFL-CIO. They're visiting us today. And what I'd like to let you know is that I am willing to bet at least 75% of us seated in this chamber are the offsprings of a union member. Perhaps if you look back into your past, you'll see that you're a descendant of an iron worker, a machinist, an electrician, a postal worker, a shipbuilder, a coal miner, an educator, a longshoreman, or a letter carrier. All of these are hard, back-breaking works, but they did it, and they did it for one reason. And that's because it was a union job. And that union job would give them higher wages and benefits that would benefit their family. As a matter of fact, according to federal labor statistics, a union worker's median income is about $908 in comparison to $710 for a non-union worker. So you could see why anyone would want to belong in a union, because with those higher wages, it would allow them to do just a little bit more so that they could make a little bit better life for their children, and then one day their children would go even further than they were able to go and make this Commonwealth a better place. I'd like to just give you a quick example of myself. I am a union member, and it's because I come from a union household. When I was born, I was one of 5 children, and we lived in public housing. And then one day, my father was able to get a job at Northrop Grumman Shipyard, where he had the ability then to get union wages. So immediately, we were able to afford that great American dream, which is that little brick house. Now, we weren't rich, but we had bricks on the front of the house and just siding on the side, but that's okay. We had that American dream. We had that brick house. There was no free lunch, no reduced lunch for us. There was no clinic, and there was no running to the emergency room for health care, because my daddy had union wages and health care benefits, so we were not a burden to the Commonwealth. I also want to tell you about another situation where being a union member helps a family. And that deals with a young man who is working on our house right now. He's a small business owner. He's replacing windows and a roof in our house. And how did he get his small business up and running? Because he's such a young man. It's because of his father. His father works also in this shipyard, and he's able to do just a little bit better for his children so his children could go a little bit further. And then his son would in turn come back and do something for this community, and that's exactly what he's doing. So tomorrow he won't be working on my house. He's going over to Southside because he's a part in that total home makeover. So he's giving right back to his community because his father, who made just a little bit more in order for him to be able to own this business, so he could go back and give to the community. As a matter of fact, union members are seen to be given higher rates to the United Way and also participating in the Relay for Life. They also, if you know the letter carriers, some of you think it's the United States Postal Service who's doing this, but this is the Letter Carriers Union who does that contribution to the food bank, where on the Mother's Day weekend they come by and pick up food. That is the union doing that. Also, in the Hampton Roads area, anyone who lives in Hampton Roads knows of the International Longshoremen Association and how they do the cookout for the cure for diabetes. These are just some of the things and ways that union members give back to the society, to the community. Then you have IBEW, which is the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. Every year, at no expense to the city, they do all of the wiring for our Bay Days. These are proud people, Mr. Speaker, and they are proud of what they do, and they want no more than just a little bit more so they can do a little bit better for their families, and then their families are able to go a little bit further than they were ever able to go. And they always tend to do this to make the world a better place. So I'm just asking now if this entire House will give a very warm welcome to some of the hardest people, the hardest, most dedicated workers in this Commonwealth, the members of the Virginia AFL-CIO.
We're delighted to have the members of the unions visiting with us today all over the Capitol. We thank you for taking the time to come explain to us some of your issues. Thank you.